Kim's a good dude. Anyway, let's get to this. And on that, number 5, and thank you, Brett McMurphy, no stable future in the Pac-12. There's just, you cannot look at it and say, I know where this conference is going to be for sure, and nobody can in the next TV deal. But really, they cannot look at it and say, I don't know where this conference is going to be attention-wise in 2 years. Once USC and UCLA are gone and you're playing games without that LA market, without all of that, you just can't say. You really can't. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we all want to know what our futures look like, and certainly there's a little bit of a mystery always that we'll never quite know for sure, and a lot of unexpected things can happen. But as far as an athletics department goes, yeah, you can nail down where you're going to play and the money you're going to make and who you're going to be against and where you're going to go and all those different types of things. And I don't think that there's even a comparison to be made right now on what Brett Yormark has going on with the Big 12 at the moment. And what George Kliavkoff has, especially after last Friday with the Pac-12. There is a conference that is being bold and a little bit brash even, but is moving forward with confidence and a calculated plan. And then there's the other side that says, just trust us. And they've been saying that for well over a year now. And they've had, various reports every time something starts to get a little stale or quiet or, I guess, negative. No, something's coming. It's just the number of TV suitors.
Yeah.
Like last Friday, the deal's going to be even better because of how long we're waiting. And, I think just after a while, people in positions of power, they need to know what's what and what's real. And unfortunately for the Pac-12, they couldn't provide that soon enough for Colorado, it seems.
Yep. Number 4, the current members are not on the same page. I've been saying this for months. The thing that the Big 12 has, that the SEC has, and the Big 12 just new to it, the SEC has, the Big Ten has now, the ACC is now struggling with this, but the current members of the Pac-12 are not all on the same page about where they want to be long-term. So, Oregon and Washington, after USC and UCLA, have to feel like, where do we stand in this? We could either maybe run this league, or this league will be run into the ground. And then where are we at the end of this when the game of musical chairs stops? Cal and Stanford have completely different views of what athletic success means, in the modern era. And then you've got, schools like Oregon State and Washington State. They're very different than the other ones. You've got the Four Corner schools. You don't have, all Big 12 schools on the same page right now trying to make sure that league gets bigger. The SEC knows that, they're out for world domination, and so does the Big Ten. The ACC is going to be dealing with this over the next years, too, and that they're going to have people that are like, well, why are we here with Wake Forest? That's what's going to bug the ACC teams.
Making this much compared to Wake Forest.
Exactly, yeah. So, what are we doing, when we're driving the ship here? So that is going to lead to discontent, and I say this based on not only the history of the Pac-12, because there's always kind of been discontent in that league historically. They fought with each other like crazy all the time. But we watched it happen here in the Big 12, Craig. It was a conference based on mistrust the whole time. And this is the first time that they've had it. The Pac-12 has it now, and you can only ride that wave for so long before it kicks you into the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly some different viewpoints. I mean, I'm sure there are some that would appreciate just the academic side of things, and that's more of their vested interest. And there are others that I think clearly want to be successful in athletics as well and want to be at the top of the game as best they can be or as high as they can be. And, yeah, not everybody's clearly on the same page because I don't think everybody's following Colorado out the door. There will be those that stay pat and wait the rest of it out, and there might be others that jump ship. But, yeah, I mean, at this point, this is the type of thing where it doesn't even matter what everybody says. You can't trust anybody, no matter the relationship, and you got to watch out for your own. And I think
that's like an episode of Big Brother, really.
Yeah. No, it's true, though. It's like Survivor. And I think that Colorado just said, well, we don't know who all's going to be on the island, but we're not going to be the last ones. Mm-hmm. And we're getting out of here, and good luck to the rest of you. And if you want to follow along, great. We'll put in a good word, but we're not going to be the last one, turning out the lights here on this conference and waiting on a TV deal. So I don't blame them for just having their patience run out or feeling like they need to move. And now I'm just curious of, who else may be eyeing the same thing, and what do some of those conversations between members look like?
Yep. Number 3, the Pac-12 was not great on the field for them. They suffered a lot. We talked about this just recently. This is a way better move. They were way more successful when they were in the Big 12 and the Big 8. I mean, when they were in the Big 8, two of the most memorable moments in college football happened to them. The 5th down play against Mizzou and the Hail Mary from Cordell Stewart to Michael Westbrook that beat Michigan. I mean, but since then, what's memorable that's happened at Colorado? Bad things. They're not writing, when the Pac-12, the Colorado super fans are talking about their favorite memories of the Pac-12, they're going to have to pick out, like, remember that one time we beat Oregon, or whatever it is. It's not, it's not Cordell Stewart's Hail Mary. It's not winning the national championship. It's not, winning a conference title.
Buddy, they're about to be the big. Let's not run them all off before they get here. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
they were not good in the Pac-12. They were not good. They were not notable in most ways. They appeared in a championship game several years ago, and that was about the height of their powers. As compared to when they, exited the Big 12, they had appeared in some championship games. They had, had some successes. They had some rivals and things like that. And, the geography led to some rivalries or what have you, and probably some great things off the field. But on the field, pure football-related product, speaking alone of that, no, it's a shell of what we knew it to be when it was a member of the Big 12, when it was a member of the Big 8, and it can do better because it has done better. And I think with Deion at the helm, NIL, a better contract with a conference that's a little bit more sturdier ground, that adds up to Colorado trying to reclaim their glory years and return to those heights. And who could blame them?
Yeah, Hayden Maxwell, thanks for the super chat. He mentions Jason Shear. Hayden, rewind the show a little bit. He was on about an hour and a half ago.
Right after all this started to pop off.
Right after all this. So he talks about that. Hayden. Number 2, Deion Sanders wanted this to happen. And, Dave Aranda couldn't walk into Mac Rhodes and say, I would like to be in this conference.
I can't imagine him asking for that. But hearing his voice, like how soft did it.
Sonny Dykes couldn't do it at TCU.
No,
I mean, so
not after the Georgia result. maybe before that he could have, but no.
But yeah, look, they can't. There's not many guys. There's probably 5 coaches in the country that could, and 4 of them are in the conference that they're gonna stay in. They're not gonna leave.
Smart, etc.
Yeah. So Deion Sanders wanted this to happen, and when they asked, "What do you think?" he said, "I'd like to be in the Big 12. That would make it a lot easier on me, and I'd be a lot happier if I could recruit in Texas." And they said, "Yes, Deion, we've got you. No problem, Coach Prime." And that's what you have to do. If you've got the most excitement around your program, you have to try to ride the wave as much as you can. And that's certainly here with Deion Sanders.
Yeah, they've got lightning in a bottle, and they're trying to do what they can with it while they've got it. And, you can worry or fret about something that could happen after this football season or 2 years down the line or whatever. But who's to say Deion's not finding his footing in the Big 12 and getting big recruiting classes because of his ties and just his star profile and, is the new team on top of the Big 12. Who's to say? Who's to say he doesn't move somewhere else? But right now, they've got a very precious little moment in time where all of the cards are lined up for them to make big moves, and they've made a few of those already. Now they're potentially making another one as soon as tomorrow. And I respect and I appreciate that they're going big, and they're not going to, let this moment go by. They're going to swing for the fences, knowing there might not be another little wrinkle in time like this for them. Like this might be their biggest chance to take the biggest swing they can. So respect to them for looking at it that way and following through on it.
By the way, I'd like to mention Mac Rhodes is off the grid this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something always. Yeah, we usually have him on every week, but he has been on vacation. Yep. I just wanted to pass this along. Max Olson, our good buddy, said he just spoke to Arizona President Robert Robbins, who's been very vocal throughout this process, and he asked him about today's Colorado news, and Robbins said, quote, "All I keep saying is, we're just waiting to get a deal, and then everybody has to evaluate the deal on its merits. I've been pretty steadfast in that stance." So... Well, don't know what the heck that means other than it sounds like Arizona's going to sit and just keep waiting on what.
Well, and look, I don't think like the Big 12, if Arizona says, "Hey, we're going to wait a little longer," they're going to be like, "Well, okay." I mean, they've got what they needed right now with this momentum, so they can start planning. And number 1, no media deal in sight. It's not like there might be, but right now, there isn't one that Colorado could say, is it better than $31.7 million? Is it going to make our conference better? Is it linear? Is it this? Is it that? They don't know. And it was made clear of that on Friday when it's probably to them on Thursday. And then on Friday when George Kliavkoff was like, oh, we're waiting gives us more partners, but we're not going to announce it on purpose today because of that. So what was it? Are you waiting or to get more partners or you have something? So that was, and I know a lot of people say, well, don't read too much into that, but it was so telling last Friday that press conference.
I listened to the advice and I didn't try to read too much into it, but I definitely but what I did say though was you can take it however you want to take it, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I kept saying. How did I phrase that? It was
it was in the eye of the beholder.
Eye of the beholder is what I called it. Yeah, it's like eye of the beholder. It's like if you were a Pac-12, pro Pac-12 person of like they're going to get a deal, they're going to get it done, doesn't matter the timeline, doesn't matter, nobody's leaving, then you heard what Kliavkoff said and it didn't really change your tune or your mind at all. If you were somebody that said, oh my gosh, that's the shoe that needed to drop, the whole conference is about to fall apart or at least they're going to have some exits, then you could have read that as well. I mean, it really was an eye of the beholder type of thing, but for those who looked into it and saw, that's some cracks in the armor and they're starting to leak a little bit. It appears that you were right, and there's not remaining patience around the entire league to sit and keep waiting on this TV deal that really has no end in sight of being completed. No matter how many industry execs want to say like this is normal, or how many people want to proclaim that this is just a natural, lengthy negotiation because of the streaming part of this and it being so brand new, and that's causing delay. Like whatever the reason's been for why this has taken so long, it's taken too long clearly for one school and perhaps for some others, and there's still no end in sight as you mentioned here. So I don't know what that means ultimately for the Pac-12 and when that could get done, but it's unless something drastically changes in the next 24 hours, this time tomorrow we'll be talking about Colorado's officially voted to be in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And we'll have been talking about that for probably a couple of hours, actually, or at least an hour. I doubt that the CW or Apple or someone's going to come like Superman flying in the next 24 hours to change minds. But, it's not official till it's official. But I can officially say that I don't think they're getting a media deal in the next 24 hours or one that would even cause a much of a change of what seems to be happening right now.
All right. And look, last up before we go, Hayden Maxwell, another super chat. Hayden,